Looking forward to this one, actually. One that I guess we discuss an awful lot with the clients that we work with. Ultimately, candidate attraction has been top of the agenda for some time now. So say hi, guys. Come on, where you tuning in from? Don't be shy. Hi from
Nice.
SA, Radebe. Radebe, good, good to have you on board.
Hi, guys. Keep putting your comments in. Want to see as many of you in here as possible. I feel like we've picked up some really good traction with these lives, not just from people in the UK, but all over, which is absolutely amazing. So do say hello and let us know where you're tuning in from. And hopefully you find this live as useful as all the others.
Certainly. So here we go. I guess we'll kick things off any second now. Um, but hopefully some of you guys have tuned in to the previous sessions we've run. This is the next instalment, and there are a couple more coming afterwards. So do stay tuned. We've had some really positive feedback on how they've gone on so far. As always, do share your comments in the box. We'll make it interactive. We will talk through any questions that you present to us, and hopefully we can give you guys some good information today when it comes to candidate attraction. But look, we seem to be getting a few highs. So hi Imran, hi Simon, hi Ozigali, Sivak, Rudabay and Gabby. Welcome. We're going to kick this off. So candidate attraction. So ultimately, it's what every business is looking for is how they can attract the candidates that they need when it comes to hiring. Now, there is some well publicized layoffs within technology at the minute. However, in many areas within digital commerce tech, there is still a huge skill set shortage, particularly in the areas that we recruit into, which are generally focused across the enterprise platforms, whether it be SAP Commerce, Salesforce Commerce Cloud, Shopify, etc., or some of the specialist CMS platforms as well. Um, You've also got the current world and economic situations. Now, they're making the world of recruitment a rather interesting space right now because, on one hand, you have candidates not looking for change. They're looking for stability. They're looking for security. But on the other hand, you have people that do need to change because they need more money to cope with the cost of living crisis. You also have big retail brands moving from monolith to composable. This is creating new opportunities internally as well as externally. Um, Also within some new tech stack still, if you look at the full stack engineer now, where they might be skilled up in React and Node and AWS, for example, whereas beforehand it might have been focused across a single platform like SAP Commerce. I think what's important to state as we kick things off is, in our opinion, within our space, it is still 100% a candidate-driven market,
Mm-hmm.
meaning that it's super important that if you are hiring, you're doing everything that you can do to attract the people you need to be able to grow your business. Think social media, think website, think salary and package. But look, we're going to come on to all of that later.
Yeah, absolutely. So right. It still is a very competitive market out there. And, the struggles are real. It takes time and money to make any hire for a business. So if you can do things to make things easier to attract those, the best talent in the market, then why wouldn't you? But before we get on to how to attract the best talent, it's also important to discuss how important it is to have good people in your team and seeking for the best. Now, it sounds like common sense, but all too often, bad hiring decisions are made due to the pressure of needing specific hires. Now, we're focused within digital commerce tech, and we see it, week in, week out, and it's not effective. This is where an expert consultant can support and add so much value to the whole process. However, as James has mentioned, in the current climate, that can be quite hostile. Having good, reliable people is more important than ever for businesses right now. Ultimately, hiring the best does save you time and saves you money. They usually require less training. They often are more productive, and they're able to hit the ground running. Now, there is a caveat to that if you're looking to hire more junior or less experienced hires, but the principles remain the same. You want the best people, the best talent in your teams. Just makes it more efficient for your business. If offered the right challenge and opportunity, you will often find that the employees will stay longer as well. And you need to define, when it comes to hiring, what the best people look like for your business. But having the best people will help create, the right environment, a healthy culture, that ultimately leads to less reduced staff turnover. Productivity increases, the opportunities for innovation and collaboration increase. So look, if you can attract the best talent in the market and also retain them, which we will get onto and we'll be diving into in our next LinkedIn Live, this will decrease the time and money investment within your hiring strategy. So it's a win-win, in my opinion. I'm sure, James, you agree.
I definitely. I think what I would be interested to see actually is from the people that are tuning in is, have you ever made a bad hire, or have you been on the flip side and you've joined a business, but actually it wasn't the right role for you? Maybe the expectations weren't set during the interview
Mm-hmm.
process, or it was just completely different to what you were expecting. If that's been you on either side, then put a quick message in the comments box. Let us know. Feel free to share a story. Like we said, we want to make it as interactive as possible. Hoping there could be one or two stories here to share. Well, I guess we'll see. But yeah, I think you're definitely right of what you say, Jess. I mean, the cost of a bad hire is no
Mm-hmm.
secret. It doesn't just have a potential impact in ROI, but also possibly across culture and team dynamics and everything else, which you just can't put a price on.
Absolutely.
But it seems like we're a bit shy, so there's no one sharing any comments at the minute. So look, I guess this is what we're all here for, right? So this is, in our opinion, and what we speak about on a daily basis, the way in which you can make yourself, your brand, your business more attractive to those people that you want to be hiring. So what I would say is there's many different ways in which you can go around this. I'm going to depict some of the key ones, and feel free to share your comments at any point in time. First of all, let's look at the community that you guys looking to hire from. There's so many events these days. You have meetups, you have breakfast collaborations, you have external offsite events like racing days and what have you. Lots of chances to be networking with professionals in your space. Are you guys running one of these? If not, then that's a good starting point. If you don't want to run one, then are you at least attending them? Let's getting your brand out there and getting your presence known. If you don't fancy doing anything face to face, then hey, check social media. There's a lot of virtual events. LinkedIn Live is a great example as to how you can be networking and interacting with people in your space from the comfort of your office or your home office. Let's think about your website, for example. Websites are a huge area which can be invested in. The amount of careers pages that we see, well, maybe that you don't even see because they're stuck somewhere on the bottom right hand side of the page. You have to scroll down, click a little button that you go onto, and the page is dated. I had an example just last week where the job spec was uploaded in 2021. And I thought to myself, I actually messaged the MD and I just said, hey, just so you know, like you can see this. And actually, if I was the one applying for that job, I'd probably think twice. Also, you might have a form you have to fill out, or even upload your education certificates from 20 years ago. I mean, why is that
Yeah.
even relevant? That's going to be putting people off applying for your role. Even if they made it to that page, they're probably going to say, do you know what? Sod this, I've had enough.
Yeah. I think from that, it's ensuring that, business owners, hiring managers are putting themselves in the candidate's shoes and seeing it from their perspective. And that will help with some of these, little, nuances that comes to form filling or a careers page. Is that what they would want to apply for if they were a candidate seeking for a new job?
Yeah, I mean, certainly not. You want to make it as smooth and as easy as possible,
Hmm.
right? It's little hurdles. Maybe upload the CV, maybe a short blurb about you, and that's it, move on. Possibly a link to your LinkedIn page. Now that's what everyone is using. Use that as the go-to, and not even upload the CV. There's a lot that can be done. Think about the job spec as well. So when you're looking at your job spec form, what's actually important to these people when you sit there giving a load of jargon that no one actually reads? Are you going to be putting them off? What do people want to know? I mean, they want to know what they're going to be working with. They want to know how they're going to progress. Why does the company stand out? What makes you different to somebody else? How can they learn? Like, there's a lot of things that's going to be relevant to them, which we don't even see on many job specs. Often it's like, you will be doing this and you will be doing that, and actually, if you must have this experience to be right. Cool, it's boring, it's dated. You're going to be putting people off. I touched upon technology, but again, that's a big thing. Now, technology can be a constraint in some cases. You can't always work with the best and the most modern tech. Obviously, many prefer to work with that when they can. However, if you're not working with the modern tech, then what do you offer that's going to excite somebody to join your business? We've not even discussed money or package yet. Now, that's an obvious one, but does your package suit your audience? Are you just doing Billy Basic, which many companies do, or are you one of these businesses out there now which is able to offer a lot more, whether it be extended holiday days, whether it be increased pension, or oh, my mind's gone blank now, but we've seen some really innovative packages with some of these technology startups. So including company holidays and all sorts. So what are you offering? Do you know what? Better still, does what you offer interest your current employees? Have you asked them? We actually did a survey ourselves about what do people want in a package, and I think at least 40% of people said they want hybrid working because it gives them better well-being. I would actually imagine that that number's probably far higher now, given how used to we are to doing the hybrid working environment. But if you're not offering it, or if you're one of those companies that's trying to enforce people back into the office 4 days a week, then hey, you might find that you're going to be looking to replace them quite fast. I actually saw a stat on LinkedIn just last week that said 77% of London commuters would look to change jobs if they were forced back into the office 4 days a week. So that's an incredibly high figure. I don't know, what's your thoughts on that, Jess?
Yeah, it really doesn't surprise me either. I think we've seen it over the past sort of 12 months or so as we've eased out of COVID and that whole, 100% remote working with, businesses enforcing more office time, more so than just a hybrid working flexibility policy. Those, wanting people to go into the office more than 3 days a week are actually finding it a challenge to hire. So they're not attracting the right talent, but they're actually losing team members and employees because of it. So it's really important to think of what package are you offering. But yeah, more so than just money and bonus, but what outside of that are people are genuinely looking for now that you can offer that are going to attract the best talent. People aren't tied to locations so much anymore. If you're offering something remote or with a lot of flexibility, that opens up the market massively to people you might not have been able to engage or attract previously. So use that to your advantage, and really publish what you are offering, that people are going to look for, that's going to gain more interest. And that leads me quite nicely onto, how employers can make themselves more attractive to candidates. If you're looking to make direct hires, what James has just discussed is really beneficial. Is only really beneficial actually if you can gain the attraction from the candidates in the first place. You can have an amazing package with all the bells and whistles, growth opportunity, but if your presence of your business is lacking, then you could be missing out entirely. So it's really, really crucial that you've got good employer branding. You want to be on the top of candidates' minds when they're coming to look for a new job. So it's a really good investment to make sure that you raise your employer value proposition. And as James touched upon just a minute ago, you know, some websites, career pages that we've seen are not that great. And first impressions really do count. We did a survey, and we will publish our link to the e-guide after this live is finished in the comments for everybody to have access to. But in the survey that we did, 53% of candidates looked at a website before they even applied for a job. And now I'm going to bet a lot of money that that figure is even higher now. So, you know, the investment into an attractive careers page and websites will actually engage more potential candidates than you think, and it's so vital. It
I'm
will
actually
help you.
surprised there's not more than 53%, like you
Yeah,
said, to be honest.
I
And
really think it will be
I
more.
don't think I've ever applied for a job without looking at the website first of all. So
Exactly that.
it's
Yeah,
probably
exactly
closer
that.
to 90.
Yeah, it's crazy, and I'm sure it's much higher. But if you're looking to reduce costs, if you use external suppliers or you use an agency, for example, and you want to drive that cost down and increase your direct applicants, you should look at your website and your brand proposition first. It's the same for your LinkedIn company page. Massive tool. There's no real value in just posting a job ad. If I was, you know, from putting myself in the shoes, if I was to look for a new job and I saw a job ad, great, but I'm going to check the LinkedIn profiles of everybody that works there, the company page, the website. And if it doesn't look attractive to me, I'm probably not going to do it. And I'm sure that's the same for a lot of candidates looking on the market. But another really good tip that is really easy to implement is publishing in current employee testimonials. It gives potential candidates a good opportunity to hear what they have to say, but it enables them to get a real feel for the business. Touching upon why candidates look to leave current roles might be for money, but often we find it's for the culture of a business. So if they can gain an insight into what it's like to work for your business, the more likely they are to apply. You know, screaming and shouting about social events that you do, any other events, business initiatives that really are going to engage, you know, future employees should be published where possible. And they're just some real simple things that can be implemented and actioned in a short space of time as well, that holds so much weight and value to attracting candidates. But I think a real key point for me and from, you know, surveys that have been done is having a strong focus on the diversity and inclusion of your business, not just as a tick box exercise that's at the bottom of the job description to say, yep, we tick that box, but it's really vital to attracting the best candidates on the market, and actually following through with that and fostering a diverse and inclusive workspace goes such a long way to show prospective employees that they would be welcome within your business, that they would feel comfortable, and that they would be offered the same opportunities no matter of their background, orientation, culture, beliefs, you know, so on and so on. So, you know, having that diversity and inclusion as a focus point, whether it's on your website, on your LinkedIn, you know, that's spoken about in testimonials, is really vital, and will open up the opportunities for you to attract the best talent in the market, not just specifically within e-com and digital tech, but any industry, in my opinion.
I think you're right. I think there's some really easy things that companies can do to make themselves stand out.
Mm.
Um, you can do so much with a website these days, and with really not a huge amount of work that can give you insights into the sort of business that you are and the sort of people that you want to be hiring. I still find it amazing that how many just real basic setups there are. That tell you absolutely nothing about the culture, the
Mm.
people, the team. Some companies don't have an about us or a team page, and it's like, wow, okay, well, are you guys 20 in size? Are you 50 in size? Um, People look at this, and people will make a judgment. First impressions count. So I hope that whoever's listening has been able to take at least a few snippets of
Mm-hmm.
some easy things they can do. I guess just to recap, you could have video testimonials from your current staff about why they joined, what they like about working for you. Talk about the diversity and inclusion policies within the business. Something that wasn't mentioned actually, which is really important, is what's your mission statement? We're seeing far more people talk about this when it comes to funding a new company. What do they want to do? What is their aim? If you are eco-friendly or you have a genuine good mission statement, then talk about it, because people will look for it and they will potentially join your business because of your values.
Yeah,
So that's
definitely.
certainly something to be considering.
Yeah, I can see Osagale said he doesn't care about the payment, but the growth mentality is what he looks out for. So true. Candidates want to believe that where they're going, they can be long term, they buy into the vision, and that their business is confident with that as well. All too often, I speak to candidates who again are looking for something new or looking for something more in terms of vision and mission of a business. So publishing that, and if you don't have one, that's okay, but you can define one and make sure that's published for candidates to see. So yeah, I think yeah, that's a really good point that you've mentioned there, and it's not always about the money, but yeah, particularly within tech, it's vital because it moves at such a speed, and new tech is evolving, or it moves so quickly that candidates want to work with the best of the best. You might not be able to offer that, but what outside of that can you offer that's going to attract them to your business? Going back to the package details, James, offering a training budget that candidate can choose to spend to develop their skill set, learn something new, also is what a lot of candidates are looking for within a wider package outside of just money. So if you've not got that, perhaps consider adding it to your offering.
Definitely. Yeah, we're seeing more and more training budgets where they have X amount for something related to the job, and then a separate amount related for personal development.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that goes down really well, and that can be as little as a couple of £100 via voucher, or as much as a couple of £1,000, depending on what your budgets allow for.
Mm-hmm.
But also, Gala, you talking about the comment that Jess mentioned. It'd be interesting to know, as someone that is interested in the opportunities at the minute, how many job specs do you look over and think to yourself, wow, that sounds really interesting? Hopefully you're still with us and you can provide an answer quite quickly.
Put him on the spot there, James.
I know, but when I'm looking online and I'm seeing all these companies advertising, the specs are very one-dimensional. They talk about what they
Mm-hmm.
want, and they talk about the key experience that they need, but very few of them speak about what you can get from them and why you should join them, other than they're the best at what they do, which again is just generic um, tripe, in my opinion. But I think we've got to change the focus away from us to you,
Mm-hmm.
and to be able to really attract the candidates that we want to be attracting.
Yeah,
Here we
definitely.
go. Of course, I assume that's an of course. There's not many that are
Lots.
presenting it to you.
Or not many.
Yeah. But okay. So Tanya, I think this is talking about the EVPs that Jess mentioned. What do you mean by proposition and EVPs? How does this play out practically? Uh, Jess, obviously you spoke about this briefly a few minutes ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. It's just ensuring that, companies are raising the bar for that. A lot of candidates are looking for that. They want to feel valued in a business and in an organization. They don't want to be another number. They don't just want to be a cog in the wheel. They want to be more than that. So as a hiring manager, as a business looking to grow their team to scale, it really is vital to be doing everything you can to ensure that that is published and known to candidates before they even click that apply button. That could be talked about in interviews and later in the process, but really, really increasing the candidates' proposition to want to work for your business is really important.
I guess that starts internally as well. I mean, there might be
Hmm.
some companies that are tuned in here that don't even track their EVP. And if you're one of them, then maybe the starting point is to start tracking it and to see how valued your employees currently feel. Hopefully, highly, and you can start to publicize it. But if for any reason it's not, then hey, it'll help with your retention longer term. So take that one on us. um, but yeah, cool. Has anyone got any questions around any of the topics that have been discussed today? Like I said, have you been involved in a bad hire, either making one yourself or unfortunately being on the other end? Oh, Tanya's back. Have you seen any examples that have worked really well for hiring recently? Examples of what, Tanya? Sorry.
I think we're seeing more and more businesses become aware and are more conscious of this as well. I mean, it's great to see, LinkedIn, we spend a lot of time on LinkedIn, businesses publishing more on their proposition, if that's what you mean, Tanya. But it depends what channels. It's really interesting to know what channels hiring managers find most successful for attracting their candidates. Is it via their website? Is it via their LinkedIn? Is it referrals? Is it job boards, for example? There's so many channels for attracting candidates. So it would be interesting to know if anybody's tuned in, who might be a hiring manager or looking to hire, where they get their success when it comes to attracting candidates.
Yeah, I think there's no harm whatsoever in putting a bit about your EVP score in the top
Mhm.
of your job description. Do something different rather than saying we are looking for this and that. Say, look, this is us. This is who we are. This is what we do. Um, Go with a bold fact or something like that. 95% of our employees scored top marks when it came to their EVP or whatever it might be. I don't know, but things like that is what's going to make you stand out stand out above your competition.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And especially in such a competitive market as it is right now, having the best marketing and employer branding and candidate proposition is going to be so important, and also help you attract those that best talent over your competitors. So it is super important, and hopefully, of all the points that we've discussed, there have been a few ideas that you can take away, or ways that you can start to attract more of the best talent in the market.
Definitely.
And even if it's simple as just rewriting a job spec, or posting more on your LinkedIn or socials, anything that's of value, we'd love to hear how you have gone and implemented anything that you've taken from this session.
Nice. And look, I think nicely finished off by Jacob. Thank you for your input here. But in summary, Jacob is saying that the number of required clicks ranges between 9 and 13 for the optimal amount for someone to present their profile. Now, 9 clicks on a website isn't a huge amount. So if you're tuned in now and you're hearing this, why don't you do a dummy run on your website? How easy is it to get from logging on to finding the careers page, to scrolling through, finding your job, and then applying? And I'd say if it's substantially more than that 9 to 13 number, then you want to be refreshing how candidates can go around it. But
Hmm.
Jacob, it'd be great if you could share that in the comments box after this one. I mean, I for one would certainly like to see it, as I'm sure would Jess, but I'm sure we're not alone. So yeah, if you'd be willing to share that, that'd be awesome. Thank you for your input. Um, Finally, I know Holly's asking a question to the audience, but I feel like we're probably nearing towards the end of this one. Unless anyone's got any last minute questions, guys, we'll run it for another 30 seconds or so. Just whilst we're waiting, the next installment is on how to retain candidates. So, again, a hot topic right now. We've already discussed the fact that there are people looking for change to cope with the cost of living crisis. Have you had any conversations recently with your staff around how they're coping, how are they getting on, how happy are they because of that? Certainly, some things we'll be discussing in more detail in the next session, which I believe is coming at the end of March. Do you have the
Yeah,
date, Jess?
30th of March. So now we've given you all the tools to attract the talent. We'll also be talking about how you can retain them. That's equally as important for hiring, your hiring and growth strategies. So yeah, that will take place on the 30th of March at 1 p.m.
Perfect. Well, I think that's it for today. Sorry for the technical issues at the start, guys. It's not ideal, but we made it. Hope you guys enjoyed the show, and we'll see you in a few weeks.
Thanks for joining, everyone. Hopefully see you next time.